"You're back, Lavra," James said, his grin too wide as I stepped into our living room, dragging my suitcase. His breezy tone prickled my skin like a warning I couldn't quite place. "Yeah," I said, eyeing him warily as I set my bag down. "What's with the smirk?" He waved a hand, casual as ever. "Oh, nothing. But well, you'll hear about it soon enough. I made a big move while you were gone." My stomach tightened. "What kind of move?" He leaned against the couch, his smile turning smug. "Your jewelry collection," he said, voice dripping with pride. "I sold it, every piece. And before you freak out, trust me, you'll thank me later. Those gems funded my new venture." The air left my lungs. My jewelry years of carefully chosen pieces, heirlooms from my mom and grandma, treasures I'd bought to mark my own milestones gone. "You what?" I whispered, my voice shaking. James chuckled, misreading my shock. "I sold it, Lavra. Those diamonds? Worth a fortune. Enough to kickstart a business that'll make us rich. It's genius, really. You should be proud." "Proud?" My fists clenched, anger surging like a tidal wave. "You had no right, James. That was mine. Do you even get what you've done?" He rolled his eyes. "Come on, you barely wore it. It was just sitting there. Now it's actually doing something. My name's Lavra Bennett, and I'm 38. I've spent my life building a career as a marketing consultant, cherishing the sentimental pieces that tied me to my past. James, my husband, always chased big dreams, but his charm hid a selfish streak. I never thought he'd betray me like this, stealing what was mine for his own gain. But he didn't know I'd taken precautions tracking devices hidden in my most precious pieces after a neighbor's burglary." His smug grin thought he'd won, but this was far from over. "This is a story of betrayal, fighting for what's yours and finding strength in the wreckage. Stick with me, because if you've ever been blindsided by someone you loved, you'll feel every step of this. And the ending will show you what it means to take back your power." I stood frozen in our living room, the weight of James's words crushing me. My jewelry wasn't just valuable, it was my history. The emerald necklace my grandma wore at her 50th anniversary. The pearl earrings my mom gave me when I graduated college. The ruby ring I'd bought after my first big promotion. Each piece held a story, a piece of who I was. And James had sold them like they were nothing, all to chase his latest get-rich-quick scheme. I wanted to scream, but I swallowed the rage, forcing myself to stay calm. "You didn't ask me," I said, my voice low. "You stole from me." He scoffed, grabbing a beer from the fridge. "Don't be so dramatic, Lavra. It's our money, right? Community property and all that. I did us a favor." My blood boiled. "Those were mine, James, not ours, mine."
He shrugged, unfazed. "What's done is done."
"You'll see, this business is gonna change everything." I turned away, my mind racing. That night, alone in our bedroom, I stared at the empty jewelry box, its velvet lining mocking me. The loss felt like a death, but something else stirred resolve. James thought I'd roll over, like I had with his smaller slights over the years. Not this time. I opened my laptop and launched the tracking app I'd installed months ago. The screen glowed with a map, red dots pulsing across the city. My heart leapt. The trackers were active. The emerald necklace was at a high-end pawn shop downtown. The pearl earrings had moved to an auction house. The ruby ring was in a warehouse on the city's edge. Timestamps traced their paths, proof of James's theft. A grim smile crossed my lips. He'd underestimated me, but I had evidence. I called my best friend Sarah, my voice shaking with anger and hope. "James sold my jewelry," I told her, explaining the betrayal and the trackers. "Every piece, Sarah. He didn't even blink." She was livid. "That's not just wrong, Laura, it's illegal. You need to go to the police, now." "I'm going tomorrow," I said, the decision solidifying. "He's not getting away with this." "Good," she said. "You've got this. He's about to learn who he's messing with." I hung up, staring at the glowing dots. James thought he'd built an empire. I was about to tear it down. The next morning, I walked into the police station, clutching my phone, nerves buzzing. I'd never done anything like this, but Sarah's words, "You've got this," echoed in my mind. At the desk, a calm officer, Detective Ramirez, greeted me. I need to report a theft, I said, steadying my voice. My jewelry collection was sold without my permission.
His brow furrowed. By who? My husband, James Bennett, I said.
His eyes widened slightly, but he nodded. Let's get the details. In a small office, I laid it out. James's confession, the sentimental and financial value of the pieces, the tracking devices. I showed him the app, the red dots blinking like beacons. This is solid evidence, Ramirez sighed, scribbling notes. If these trackers check out, we can likely recover the items. Do you have a list of what was taken? I handed him a notebook, every piece detailed with estimated values $60,000 total. Though their emotional worth was priceless. This is theft and fraud, Ramirez said. Selling your property without consent is serious. Are you ready to press charges? My heart pounded. Charges against my husband? It felt like a cliff's edge, but I nodded. Yes, I want him held accountable. Ramirez gave a resolute nod. We'll verify the tracker locations and start recovery. You did the right thing coming here. Leaving the station, I felt a mix of relief and dread. Relief that the police were on my side, dread at what James would do when he found out. He'd always been a master at twisting blame, making me feel guilty for his mistakes. Not this time. That evening, Sarah came over with coffee and a fierce hug. How'd it go? She asked, settling on my couch. I recounted the meeting, the trackers, Ramirez's plan. They're already tracking the pieces, I said. It's real now. You're a badass, Sarah said, grinning. James thought he could steamroll you, but you're fighting back. We toasted with our mugs, but my mind churned. What would James say when the police knocked? The next day, Ramirez called. We've confirmed 2 items at a pawn shop and 1 at an auction house, he said. We're working with the owners to secure them, but there's something else. Your husband's financial records show irregularities, large transfers tied to his business. We're expanding the investigation. My stomach dropped. What does that mean? Possible fraud, he said. Some funds from your jewelry sales are mixed with other questionable transactions. You're not implicated, but we'll need your cooperation, I agreed, reeling. James wasn't just reckless, he was dangerous. That night, I confronted him.
He strolled in, tossing his keys, all swagger. Rough day?
He asked, eyeing my tense posture. We need to talk, I sighed, arms crossed. The police are investigating you for stealing my jewelry. They've got the trackers, James. They know. His face paled, but he rallied. Police? Are you kidding me, Lavra? It was just sitting there. I did us a favor. A favor? I snapped. You stole my family's heirlooms. And now they're looking at your business fraud. James, what else are you hiding? His eyes flashed with anger. You're blowing this out of proportion. Why couldn't you just talk to me? Now you've made a mess. You made the mess, I said, unflinching. You stole from me, lied, and thought I'd let it go. The police have evidence. You're done. He stepped closer, voice low. You're making a mistake, Lavra. You'll regret this. The only mistake was trusting you, I said, holding his gaze. He stormed out, the door slamming. My heart raced, but I felt alive. For once, I'd stood my ground. The investigation moved fast. Ramirez called 2 days later. We've recovered the emerald necklace and pearl earrings, he said. More are traced to a warehouse, but your husband's in deeper than we thought. His business accounts show signs of embezzlement. And tax evasion. I sank onto the couch. Embezzlement? Yes, he said. Funds from your jewelry sales were funneled into accounts we're still tracing. He's facing serious charges. I thanked him, my mind spinning. James wasn't just a thief, he was a criminal. That evening, Sarah came over. Embezzlement? She said, stunned. How did you not see this? I trusted him, I admitted, voice breaking. I thought his big talk was just ambition. Now I feel like I married a stranger, she hugged me. This isn't your fault, Lavra. He hid it well, but you're stopping him. That's what matters. Her words steadied me. I wasn't the fool here James was. The next day I met with a lawyer, Emily, recommended by Sarah. In her office I laid out everything. The theft, the trackers, the fraud. You've built a strong case, Emily said, scanning my notes. The police are handling the criminal side, but we should file for divorce to protect your assets. His business is a mess, debts, investigations. We need to separate you financially. Divorce. The word hit hard, but it felt right. Let's do it, I said. I want out. She nodded. Smart. We'll file immediately and secure your finances. That night, James came home, his usual charm replaced by desperation. Lava, the police are all over me, he said. Pacing. You've ruined everything. You ruined it, I said, calm. You stole from me, lied, broke the law. I'm done cleaning up your messes. His face twisted. You think you're so perfect. I did this for us. No, I said. You did it for you, and I'm filing for divorce.
His jaw dropped. Divorce? You can't be serious. Watch me, I said.
He stormed out and I exhaled, free. A week later, Ramirez called. We've recovered all but one piece. He said, the ruby ring is still out there, but the rest are yours. And we've charged James with theft, fraud, and embezzlement. Relief flooded me. Thank you, I said, tears welling. What happens to him now? He's negotiating. A plea, Ramirez said. Likely probation, restitution, maybe jail. The evidence is airtight. At the station, I held the emerald necklace, the pearl earrings, my grandma's sapphire ring. They weren't just jewelry, they were my past, my strength returned. Emily called that afternoon. Divorce papers are filed. James was served. You're protected financially. I thanked her, a weight lifting. Sarah threw a small dinner to celebrate, raising her glass. To Lavra, who fought and won. I smiled, clinking my glass. Not won yet, but getting there. Months later, the divorce was nearly finalized. James took a plea deal, 3 years probation, hefty fines and restitution for my losses. His business collapsed under the scandal, but I was free. The ruby ring was never found, but I'd reclaimed what mattered, my independence, my voice. I moved to a smaller house, one that felt like mine. My career thrived, and I started a blog about protecting personal assets, inspired by my fight. Sarah remained my rock, my family grew closer, and I found peace in my own space. That day, James bragged about selling my jewelry. He thought I'd crumble. Instead, I rose, proving that betrayal doesn't define you, fighting back does. My heirlooms were back, my future was mine, and no one would steal from me again.